Hi, welcome to the Brief Book Reviews channel, otherwise known as An Old Guy Reviews the Book That He's Read This Week. So what's the old guy read this week? Well, slight change this week. I had a few comments on the channel saying that I should review more non-fiction books, because typically I review fiction, crime, murder, mystery, thrillers, etc. So I thought, hey, Vox Populi, Vox Dei. So this week it's a non-fiction book, and the book I've read this week is this one. It's called The Mostly Football World According to Ollie by Ian Holloway. Published by Reach Sport here in the United Kingdom as a hardback on the 1st of May 2025. And I think the strapline on the front probably explains it far better than I'll ever do. And it says, a book like no other from one of the beautiful game's most charismatic managers. Conscious this is a YouTube video and some people from outside the UK may not know who Ian Holloway is. Well, Ian Holloway has had a long career as a player and a long career as a football manager. He's currently the manager of League Two Swindon Town, which, in complete transparency, is my team, a team I've followed for over 60 years. So I guess there'll be an inherent bias in this review, but I just want to get that one out there. So Ollie managed his 1,000th game at the end of 2024, so he's a very experienced and knowledgeable guy, a guy with a sense of humour, a guy that's always he's basically a broadcaster's dream, because he's always happy to talk to him and always happy to give his thoughts on the matter and other matters as well. And in fact, there's probably no tangent that Ollie won't go off on. So this is a collaboration with his ghostwriter, David Clayton. He talks about when he first met David. When he first met David, he was manager at Plymouth Argyle, which is in the far southwest of the country, and David came from Manchester. So when David came down to Plymouth to see him, he guessed, well, this guy's serious. So this is the third collaboration, if you will, between Ollie and David. The first book was published in 2008. It's a standard biography called Ollie. There was another book issued in 2022, which was called How to Be a Football Manager, which is basically an upgrade on the original book, but included stuff that Ollie had done since then, including the Blackpool promotion. So what's this one then? Well, he says in the foreword that this book was pitched to him by David, and he wasn't sure, because basically it's a collection of random observations, thoughts, opinions and stories, and it's not just football. You get to learn more about Ian Holloway the man, and I guess in a game that's sometimes not always the beautiful game anymore, where money and greed could possibly be seen to have taken over, where we've had a whole generation of people brought up on playing FIFA on their Xbox or PlayStation, and their main concern nowadays is XG, overloads, transitions, etc. And where modern day coaches receive media training because they're having to do presentations all the time. So in that world, Ollie is effectively an outlier. He talks as he sees it. He goes off on many tangents. He's funny. He's got the strong Bristol accent. So as I said, he's an outlier and very well respected in the game. So what's in this book then? Well, as I said, it's a random collection, and a bit like Ollie, it's all over the shop. There is no content. Most autobiographies start off with the player as a youngster and how they work through and whatever. So Ollie has had a great career. He's been a player, he's been a manager, he's been a football pundit, he's an after-dinner speaker. So there's lots of good stuff in here. And there are 120 brief chapters. As I said, there's no logical path through it, and there are all sorts of different stories in the book that will keep various people happy. I guess the title says The Mostly Football World According to Ollie, and I've made a quick note of some of the football subjects that football fans will no doubt like to hear Ollie's views on. So some of those, but not all, include playing from the back, sweeper keepers, Super Jack Grealish, club cats, stutter penalties, Gary Lineker, who doesn't get a good review. Ange Ball, Simon Jordan, the Saudi Pro League, VAR, and offside lines. And I guess with the latter one, the ridiculous nature of VAR and offside nowadays, where somebody's left toenail could be offside and the goal disallowed, is clearly nonsense. But we also got comments on club mascots, where he says the Swindon Town mascot Rockin' Robin looks more like a turkey than a robin, and also scrapping cup relays and modern day boots, which again, don't get me started on that one. So it's a great book of anecdotes, stories. There's there's some really good ones, including one of the famous room service one where Brett Ormerod and Keith Southern are ordering chips after they've just had a full meal, and Ollie turns up to deliver them. One that was particularly as a Swindon Town fan, which struck me, was that there's a comment about kit men, and they said to him when he's signing people in January 2025, apparently, just make sure you sign some big lads because we're running out of medium shirts. We need a couple of large shirts to go. And he wasn't quite sure whether they were joking or not, but now in Swindon Town at the moment, that may well have been true. He also they didn't have any long coats for him, so he had to wear his own. So lots of anecdotes, mainly football based, but also Ollie on all sorts of subjects, including camper vans, his love for animals, you name it, it's there. It's well worth a read. Probably no coincidence that it was released on the 1st of May, with Father's Day coming up in the UK in the middle of June. I'm sure a lot of people will want to buy this for their dads, and even if not necessarily just for old guys. This is probably a book for all football fans, and it shows a little bit of the psyche of Ian Holloway. So I really enjoyed reading it, and as I said, I'm a Swindon fan, so there's bound to be a little bit of bias as he's our current manager. But it really is worth a read. It's 302 pages. There's 120 very brief chapters. They're well worth a read. And obviously, like any non-fiction book, you can just dip into it when you want to. So a very enjoyable read, a bit different from the books I normally review, but I'd certainly give it 7 out of 10. And available at all good bookshops and probably the bad ones as well. So I think that's it for this week's brief book review. Thanks for watching. At 10:10 till we do it again. Bye.